So today we're going to learn about how to start a multi-million-dollar niche actuary, and I hope I'm saying that right, actuary staffing and recruiting business. This is within the accounting and finance industry. Here we're going to define your actuary niche within the following industries with the property, casualty, and insurance, consulting, reinsurance, academic, government, and more. This is going to be super exciting. So if you're looking for a niche, if you're thinking about starting your own niche recruitment and staffing agency, and you're looking for a niche, not really sure what niche to get into, hopefully tonight's live webinar will provide you with some clarity so that you can get a good idea of what a real niche looks like. And I'm excited to present this to you. So my goal here today is, if you stay to the end of this webinar, I'm going to do something really, really, really cool. If you guys stay to the end, I'm actually going to give away 2 15-minute one-on-one sessions with me to help you get your business started. I also have an ebook that I want to provide to you guys that was given to me by one of my mentors, and it talks about having a millionaire mindset. So what I may do is add an extra email for everyone who has attended tonight, and to provide you guys with that ebook. I think it'll change your mindset, or at least open your mindset up to something new. So that's super duper great. But if you stay to the end, you will have an opportunity to get to win 2 free coaching sessions with me, so that you can get a good idea of like what direction you want to get your business in. I'll be there to assist you without a doubt. All right. So my name is Dee Williams. This is me. Some people call me the Queen of Recruiting and Staffing. I've placed thousands of people as a contract recruiter for companies such as Lockheed Martin, Fannie Mae, Home Depot, Apple, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Cisco, Bank of America, plus a lot of other large companies. I've broken placement records working for a number of staffing agencies. I have ran my own 7-figure business in a niche recruitment and staffing agency space. I've created a number of 5- to 6-figure staffingpreneurs, and I absolutely love what I do for a living. It is nothing more than a blessing than to be able to wake up every day and to train and coach professionals just like you on how to live out, how to turn their ideas into realistic dreams. So I'm super duper humbled to be here tonight. So some of you may say, okay, Dee, I'm on this live webinar. I got the whole thing, but why recruiting and staffing? There are a ton of different business models out there. Why recruiting and staffing? So first things first, the value in what we do. The recruiting and staffing industry and workforce solutions industry, this is, and I'm supposed to be reading my script. Okay, I'm just going freestyle here. Okay, so the American Staffing Association posted an article online recently titled "Staffing Employment Grew 2.6% in 2015." Listen to what the ASA president and CEO had to say. This is the number one reason you want to be in this business. And he said, the staffing, recruiting, and workforce solutions industry is extremely proud of the important role that it plays in creating jobs and enabling employment, matching millions of Americans and their skills with millions of jobs every day. Okay, over the course of the past year, the industry provided employment to close to 16 million people, many of whom bridged to permanent positions. That's pretty big for an industry. This is why staffing, we play a major role in helping people and connecting people with the right job opportunities. And as we all know, everybody needs a job, right? Or everybody needs to work at some point, right? So the second reason is that this is a stable industry. The staffing and recruiting business has been around since the days of Julius Caesar. And is where he promised an award to any soldier that brought another soldier into the army. So it's not like staffing and recruiting is a brand new industry. It's been around forever. 2,000 years later, we're now $126.8 billion industry, still booming stronger than ever. Are you aware that employers across the globe spent over $3 trillion on contingent staffing of all types in 2013? Like, are you aware that the global staffing market in 2013 was worth an estimated $416 billion? That's worldwide. That's globally, $416 billion. U.S. staffing companies alone employed an average of 3.3 million temporary and contract workers per week in 2015, and an annual temporary and contract staffing sales in 2015 totaled 120.1 billion. So this is definitely a growing industry. It's reported that 90% of the U.S. companies use recruiting and staffing services to fill jobs ranging from admin assistants to CEOs to startup founders, anything and everything that you can possibly think of. China and India are also a part of the top 3 countries who are cashing in on the staffing and recruiting industry, following South Africa and Brazil. And just as you can see, it's just a ton of opportunity for you to make as much money as you want and to impact as many lives as you want. There's no excuse to why you're not doing great in this business or why you can't do great in this business. So how does this business work exactly? Well, let's talk about that. So first of all, you are a matchmaker. Y'all like my graphics there? I had to get some really good, exciting graphics there. So the business works, you're a matchmaker, okay? And a detective, just in case you don't know. You're hired, paid, and you are a hired, paid, and trusted advisor to and by companies, which are employers of, in this particular instance, we're talking about the actuary niche, to find exceptional actuary candidates to fill specific jobs within their companies. And I like to talk about being a matchmaker because when you start thinking about this business, I want you to start thinking about what this business looks like to you, what it feels like to you. What is this business to you? Okay, so we start talking about Olivia Pope from Scandal. She's the middle person. She's the detective getting things together. We've got the millionaire matchmaker. We've got Sherlock Holmes, 007. Who doesn't know about the X-Files, right? Y'all are very quiet today. And what about Scooby-Doo and the gang? I mean, I'm making fun of this, but this is really what the majority of your job is. You are ultimately a matchmaker and you're a detective. Your job at the end of the day, no ifs, ands, or buts, is to match exceptional candidates with open positions that your clients have given. Your clients are employers, okay? So, and I want you to know that the candidates that you're placing, they are your most valuable asset. Your candidates are your capital. You are the trusted advisor to hundreds of actuary candidates as well. This is your target market, and the more actuaries you know, the more valuable you become. It is your job to make the match. Hello. All right, I get excited, y'all. Don't laugh at me because I get super duper excited, okay? So, now, can you imagine? I just want you to imagine your search firm name right here on this slide. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see the screen? Y'all aren't saying anything. I don't even know if you can see the screen. Can you guys see the screen? Hello? Are you here? Can somebody? Okay. Thank you. I wish somebody would have said something. I'm just going. Y'all know I get excited. So can you guys see the screen? Do you want me to go back a little bit so you can see what I had? Oh, let me go back a little bit. Let me just kind of go back just a little bit, just so you can see. Okay, so slide 1. Oh, y'all don't laugh at me. Okay, this was my goal. If you stay to the end. All right, just so you can see, that's me for the first timers who don't know who Dee Williams is. I'm going to go back a little bit. Keisha said, okay, now it makes sense. Yes, okay. So here's all my accolades, why recruiting and staffing, and the value in what we do. Okay, here we go. A stable industry, employers across the globe. I don't want to cheat you guys. I want to show you that I love you genuinely, and and I apologize. So there we go. Okay, so how does this business work exactly? We talked about that you're a matchmaker and a detective. You're hired, paid, right? Your candidates are your capital. Your job is to make the match. Are we all caught up? Okay, I'm getting a lot of comments in the box. Okay, thanks, Keisha. Thanks. And Jameson, Keisha, is that Keisha Jameson or Kisha Jameson? I wasn't really sure. Thanks, Vanessa. Got it. Keisha. Okay, thank you, Keisha. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome today. All right, so I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to imagine your business name here, okay, with the industry finance and the niche. I call it the actuary. Da 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 da, right? I have to put music behind it. So if you're thinking about diving into the recruiting and staffing industry and you want to get into the finance and accounting space, one of the things that you're going to be faced, one of the questions you're going to be faced with is like, okay, what in accounting and finance do I do, right? And so this is a niche that you can potentially think about. This is a niche that you can get involved with. And we're going to talk about that niche today and see how it fits into your lifestyle. So when we start talking about building a niche recruitment and staffing agency business, and the one we're speaking about in particular is the Actuary, we want to show you how to start, build, and grow this business. But it's going to be up to you to decide how you're going to do this. Are you going to do this with friends, family, colleagues? Are you going to build a team in a virtual or in an office setting? Or are you going to go solo, do this by yourself in the privacy of your own home? Okay? Questions that I get on every call, I want to make sure I answer. How much does it cost to get the business up and going, Dee? Okay, so there's a low startup cost of between $1,000 and $100,000, including training. Okay? Now, that is going to depend on your budget, your preferences, your time and flexibility to build the business. The lower the startup costs, the more time it's going to take for you to get the business off the ground. The higher that you have in funds, the faster that it'll take for you to get your business off the ground. I've seen people do this business on a budget of $500. I mean, they were literally strapped for money, but believed that this business could work. To be honest, I started both of my staffing agency businesses on $500. I don't even think I spent $1,000 on either one of mine. And then over time, I just added and grew. So if you're thinking of starting this business and you're kind of like not sure, like how much is this going to cost? Can I afford it? It really, you can. It's totally up to you and how you want this to look. We're excited about those numbers because those are really easy numbers for us to work with, right? So the next question is, how much can I make? So that totally also depends on you. You have two business models that you're typically working from, and those two business models, one is a bottom line business model, financial business model, where you receive one-time checks based on a one-time fee percentage placement. And then you also have residual income possibilities, which is like your weekly and monthly checks. And those are based on the number of hours that an employee works in an hourly rate. And we'll definitely go over this, in more detail very shortly. I'll tell you this, you can make one placement per month or 10 placements per month, but it's totally going to depend on your budget. It's going to depend on your ingenuity and your business model. It's going to depend on your drive and your desire to really help people. And I think a lot of people get lost here because they're focused solely on the check, but the check is a direct result of the passion that you have for your business. And so if you're coming into this business looking to earn a check, you may not earn that check as fast as you want to if you don't really have a passion for the business model. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Remember that when your real goal is to help others, the money will follow and overflow 1,000 times over. I'll go through just how much that you can make shortly based on this niche here, as I stated earlier, and you're going to see some really big numbers. I do want you to be excited about making those big numbers, but I also want you to know that getting those numbers requires you to have a passion for solving this need. This is a great time for a segment of disclaimer. Woohoo! So let me just say this. So results are not typical. Okay, I'm going to walk you through, and I have to do this disclaimer for the FCC, is that sometimes they come on these calls and they watch and they want to make sure I'm not promising you something that is not ethical. So this is my FCC disclaimer. It's probably not the one that they want, but this is my version of it. So today I'm going to walk you through a number of specific processes, promotions, and systems that are earning huge sales numbers right now. My results are not typical, and the average person who attends my training see minimal results because they don't believe in themselves enough to see the business through. They do not succeed because they focus on what they don't believe can happen versus what can actually happen. They give up before they ever even have a chance to win. However, I am happy today to show you exactly what's working for me, what has worked for me and a number of other people who've used my system. And I'm happy to show you how we've been successful in this business for free. I do want to note very quickly that this is not for get rich quick people. This is not an MLM venture. I love MLMs. I like get rich quick schemes sometimes depending on how they're set up, but this is not what this is. I do teach both of these, but this business is actually a real business. This business is actually a business that, okay, I'm going out of my script. This is a real business. Let me stay with my script. This is, however, for people who are looking to start a real business that impacts real lives and who are willing to put in real time and energy to make this business work. Those are the few people who do see amazing results. And I just wanted to make sure that I noted that. So let's get into the good stuff now that we've gotten past the disclaimer. Woo! Okay, let's get into the niche, the actuary. Are anybody on this call, are you guys familiar with the actuary niche? Are you familiar? Has anybody heard of it? Is anybody familiar with it? Have you worked with one? Have you placed one? Have you, what's your experience in accounting and finance? Okay, I'm getting no's. I'm not familiar. Does everybody on this call have a niche, or are you still thinking about your niche? Come on, give me some feedback here, guys. I've got a lot of people on this call. Still thinking. Okay, good. All right, awesome. Yvonne says, I'm passionate about helping ex-offenders get back on their feet. That's awesome. There are some ex-offenders that are definitely in the finance and accounting space. Thinking of my niche, My niche is project management. Awesome. Keisha, are you a project manager now? Trudy, marine industry. I love that. Trudy, do you have a marine background? Okay, great. Keisha, yes, I am. Awesome. I love that. Then that's a great niche for you to get into. Okay, awesome. So today we're going to talk about the actuary niche here. I'm going to talk about a little bit. So big question, to niche or not to niche finance versus the actuary. So the finance and accounting industry is an industry in its own. When people decide that they want to get into the niche recruiting and staffing agency business, they're always concerned, maybe I should just focus on the whole industry because I don't want to miss out on anything. I think, focusing on one job title is going to narrow me down too much. I hear that a lot. And so my question to you is, are you looking to be all to everyone, or are you looking to be the best in your offering or your specialty? Those are like the big questions that you want to ask yourself, okay? It's like, what really do you want to do? You want to do all of finance, or do you want to focus solely on a niche? All right, so let's talk about the niche overview. All right, so an actuary, for you guys who don't know what an actuary is, and for you guys who responded and said, I'm still thinking about a niche, D. I'm not 100% sure what it is that I want to do. So the actuary is a part of the finance industry, but the insurance industry cannot function without actuaries. And that's major for you to know. They cannot function without actuaries, which means this is a very stable niche for someone to get involved in, to get involved in. This is a very stable niche. And so it's super duper important for you to think about that when you're in, or you're working in in the finance and accounting industry. Okay, so actuaries calculate their cost and determine the premiums for policyholders. And while we don't forecast the weather, actuaries can tell them how much they can expect to pay in claims after the next Florida hurricane. However, the insurance industry is not the only industry that can use a great actuary. We have public accounting firms, banks and investment firms, the government, college and universities, private corporations, rating bureaus, labor unions. They have consultants. So there's a number of different places that actuary can be. You have options when you're looking to place actuaries, okay? So let's talk a little bit more. Who is my niche market when I'm placing actuaries? Well, let's talk about it. Actuaries, we're key players on the management team of companies that deal with risk. We manage risk. We are the leading professionals in finding ways to manage risk. We are the analytical backbone of our society's financial security programs. That's deep, okay? We are the brains behind the financial safeguards in our personal lives so we can go about our day without worrying too much about what the future may hold for us. So this is pretty big. Actuaries play a major role in what society is looking for, what society's standards are from the financial perspective, okay? So what solutions do actuary professionals provide? Actuaries analyze the financial costs of risk and uncertainty. They use math, statistics, and financial theory to assess the risk that an event will occur, and they help businesses and clients develop policies that minimize the cost of that risk. Actuaries' work is essential to the insurance industry. I also want to state really quickly when I see things like this, and this is me going away from the presentation and kind of like on a high level, but anybody that's working in the math and statistics space, they can ultimately, if you're on this line and you're looking to place security engineers or anything that's in network security or, technology from a security space, actuaries would be great people to kind of roll over into those types of positions as well, because in security, you're looking a lot at statistics and math. So, this could open a segue for you over time to not just place actuaries, but you could ultimately place actuaries and maybe IT security professionals, and then grow your business out in both of those ways. But that's kind of high level. I just want to throw that out for the people that were ready for that. The people that weren't, don't worry about it. We'll come back to it another time. Okay, so your job, staffingpreneur, my beautiful, wonderful, handsome, gorgeous staffingpreneurs, your job and or your mission is to meet every and all of the best, mediocre, and best of the best actuary professionals that you can find. You want to meet them, you want to network with them, you want to get into their world and build solid relationships with them. If you have already discovered your niche and decided on a niche, whatever your niche is or may be, your job and or mission is to meet every and all of the best, mediocre, and best of the professionals that are within your niche. You want to meet them, network with them, get into their world, and build solid relationships with them. When the opportunity arises, or when you create the opportunity, because it can go either way, when you create the opportunity, you will match them with great companies and have great job and career opportunities for them, and you will get paid for it. Woo woo! I love that word, get paid for it. That's one of my favorite words. Okay. Now, so let's talk a little bit about what type of salary the actuaries are making. So actuaries, they made time.com, the magazine, they made their list of the highest paying jobs in 2016. Do y'all hear this? Can y'all put some dollar signs in the chat box for a sister over here? Y'all are so quiet. Just like, I've got 100% attendance, listening, audience participation, but y'all are not chatting with me today. Y'all waiting for me to ask you for something. Come put some dollar signs in the chat box. I love when I see that, a particular title or a particular job is ranking. Yes, thank you. I love that. It's ranking high on the pay scale. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, Keisha. Thanks, Keisha. We got a couple of Keishas. I think we got 4 Keishas on the line tonight. That's awesome. All right. So they actually came in number 19 for 2016 with the 2016 median base salary being $115,000. As I did my research on this particular niche, I found that the highest salary that I found in this niche was $500K, which gives me a lot to work with you guys tonight. But the highest was $500K. The lowest I saw was about 86, right? The 2014 median base was $96,000 a year, and they had about 24,000 jobs in 2014. And I just want you to notice that in 2014, the median base was 96,000, and just a few years later, now it's 115,000. So that tells you how this niche, yes, Vanessa, this niche is really, really, really growing. It's one that you definitely don't want to turn your head on. It's one that you want to pay very close attention to, because it's really in the model of what we call a high margin, low volume business model, which means you don't have to place a lot of these to get the cash or to generate the cash that you want to generate. And if we grew, the median salary grew so substantially as it did in the last 2 years, you can only imagine what it's going to do over the next, 5 or 10 years. So this is definitely a great niche. And Trudy says, wait a minute now, I'm thinking about switching my niche, D. This looks good. She got excited. She's like, hold on now. I didn't know we were dealing with some numbers like this. Well, we're going to look at those numbers in a little bit and see how they impact your bottom line and your residual income at the end of the day. Because if you guys are working on a niche where you're looking more for volume, it's going to take you way longer to see those massive numbers that I talk about in my trainings. But, you're going to need lots of volume in order to get those numbers. But if you are looking to hit those numbers pretty quickly, then the model where you have a high margin and a low volume is definitely the direction that you want to go in. So I did a little more research. I mean, I actually enjoyed the research process of doing this. And every week or every other week, we're going to do a different niche so that everyone can kind of get involved and kind of see where they want to be. Because a lot of people, they come and they know they want to start the business, but they're not 100% sure like what niche to choose. It's like so many opportunities out there. They're like, oh my gosh, Dee, like, do I choose this? Do I choose that? So I really thought this would be a great way to kind of introduce some of the niches to you guys so that you can see, and everyone doesn't stay in the same space of registered nurses and project managers, which is nothing wrong with that. Everything is okay with that. But there are some other niches out there that, I don't want you guys to miss out on, where there's a lot of opportunity for you to make a ton of money and to impact a lot of people's lives. And I want to introduce that to you. All right. So as I was doing the research, I saw that this came up so I told you that actuaries are like in the healthcare space. And so if an actuary is working in the casualty space, they're going to make somewhere between 126 and 153. That includes their base and the bonus that comes along with it. If they're a healthcare actuary, they're going to do about 131,000 total comp. If they're a life insurance actuary, then they're going to do about 149. And if they're pension, they're going to do 108. Those are pretty decent numbers if you start to add a 20% fee to that, And Deidre, thank you. She said, Dee, I really appreciate this because I'm searching and trying to figure out my niche. So I'm glad that I'm able to help a little bit. Now, someone asked me, and before they didn't even have to ask me, I'd already knew that I needed to come with the question to this, but they said, what about the top people, D, with a 500K? What are the titles for that? Okay, so chief actuaries, partner principal level actuaries, investment actuaries, lead actuary consultants, CXOs and board members, actuaries that own their own firm, other types of actuaries with highly specialized skills that are in demand. Those you're going to see salaries somewhere between $251K and $500K plus, not including bonuses and some instances. Yes, Trudy, predominantly male. Trudy, you are all over it, girl. Let me give you some high fives over here. It is predominantly male, and I will tell you, because it looks like Trudy may be doing some research on her end, which I love. Oh my gosh. I will say that if you are thinking about tackling this niche, that you don't want to do entry level, because what I found through my research is that most companies are not going to pay a staffing agency for a recent grad or entry level actuary. They have to have, at least 5 to 10 years of experience for them to even consider paying a fee. So again, if you want to get into this niche, it's going to be serious business. You don't want to play around with this niche here, right? All right. So let's talk about what the overview looks like. All right. So when I did some research, I found 4,958 jobs listed on Simply Hired that had actuary in it or held the actuary title. 2,469 jobs listed on Indeed. 1,000 plus jobs listed on Monster. That was the total that they gave me. And then on LinkedIn, 870 jobs were listed. That's not included the free job postings that LinkedIn offers as well with those job titles. Those are just for the paid job titles. Now, with that said, I also found 34,449 actuary LinkedIn profiles. And on just a basic Google search that I did, which only allowed me to see resumes for actuaries and not everything else, I came up with about 5,000 plus resumes. So I want you to get ready to answer this question in the inbox, because my question to you is, do you think that you can make 12 to 25 matches within 1 year with this estimated amount of job openings? So if they have at a minimum 4,958 job openings and you've got 34,000 profiles, do you believe that you can make 2 to 4 placements per month? And that's what the 12 to 24 matches are. 2 to 4 placements per month with these. Oh, yes, I'm saying, oh my gosh, yes, D, yes. I mean, the responses are coming in. Absolutely. Yes. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Okay. This is why the niche is so important. You don't have to have 10 million jobs open. Okay. All you need is enough for you to make 24 placements, 25 matches in a year. And you're in the $1 million zone. Okay. You're in the $1 million. It's not rocket science. You don't even need to have a full-blown staff to make 2 to 4 placements per month. It's your choice. You can, but you don't even need that. All right, so you guys are with me. I love your energy. I really appreciate that energy tonight. I'm going to tell you, I had a crappy week this week. So your energy is just getting me amped up. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, are y'all ready to dive into some real numbers here? Can I pull my calculator out? Because y'all know that's like my favorite part of these live webinars and stuff. Yes, Keisha said, bring it, D. She didn't even hesitate, y'all, just FYI. She's like the first person to respond. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Stop hesitating. Don't play around with it. We want to see the numbers. Okay. I love that. All right. So I don't know what just happened to okay, here we go. So we ready to get started. Okay. I was like, what happened to my thing? Okay. So let's go in and pull some numbers here, because I think it's important for you guys to see that. I'm on a Mac, so you'll know I got to kind of move things around. Today, we are actually working on the infamous calculator. I call it the Dream Big Staffing and Recruitment Calculator, so we can have a good opportunity to see what those numbers look like. Deidre says, show me the loot. Vanessa said, oh my gosh, do you really have me and my husband excited over here? Hey, hubby, thanks for being here. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about some of these numbers based on what we have seen so far. And we saw a couple of numbers as far as salary. So we're going to start with your direct hire. Remember that your direct hire, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I want you guys to really see the real numbers that are taking place here. And I just want you to remember that your direct hire is your bottom line income. And when I say bottom line, that means that the hiring manager or the employer or the company is going to pay you a one-time check, okay, for the services that you render. So you get paid one time. It goes directly to your profits and revenue. The only thing that you have to take out is your IRS bill. Everything else belongs to you. It is yours, okay? You don't have to share. You don't have to pay payroll. It is all yours. Okay, so I'm going to start with the very lowest. We had a medium base salary in 2014 of $96,000, $700 per year. And we know that the lowest fee that we want to do on the direct hire side is 15%, right? The lowest fee. That means that your check for one placement is $14,505. Now, we've got a couple of these jobs open right now that I might try to play around and fill because I could use an extra 15 grand on the side. I don't know about you. If anybody on here, can you guys use an extra $14,000 check? Deidre said, Lord, before taxes? Yes, this is before taxes, Keisha. So it's you'll get $14,000, and then of course you want to make sure that you're paying your taxes on a quarterly basis. Right. Yes. That's exactly right. I'm over here. I wish you guys could see like the comments that are coming through because they're like so funny. Okay. So now that's just at the lowest, but we all know, like y'all know, I don't even play. You don't want to lowball yourself at that 15,000. The industry standard is 20%. So if you go industry standard route, your check would be somewhere about $19,000. If you decide to let the client lowball you, then your check will be around $14,000. It's your job to sell your worth. It is your job to know your worth. It is your job not to, and in this niche, honestly, they're probably going to pay somewhere in around $25K, which will give you about a $24,000. And then the higher the salary goes, they'll even probably end up paying about $30K, which would give you almost a $30,000 check there as well. So it just really depends, like, on how what you feel your worth is, right? It really depends on what you feel your worth is and what you feel like, what you can offer. If you'll see over time as you work with me, I'll tell you, don't shortchange yourself. Okay. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to add that 20%. I just wanted to give you an outlook because that was based on the median base salary in 2014. The median base salary in 2016 now is a little bit higher, which gives you a little more to work with. That wasn't right. 5000. There you go. So now with these numbers, you can see how this has really just changed over the course of 2 years and how your income can grow immediately. So if the average median salary is $115,000, you're talking about bringing home a $17,000 check. Who can use $17,000 right now? Who can use $17,000? Who can use $23,000? Anybody on here? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this isn't big money. Oh, Trudy said me. Yvonne said me. Deidre said, Lord knows I can. Okay, just checking. So we're looking at kind of your smaller numbers, your low-end numbers. But I know for a moment I did talk about numbers being as high as 200. And what was that number? I just want to make sure I said that properly. 251,000. So if y'all don't mind, I just kind of like to, because I haven't played with the numbers yet. I just did the research. So I would like to see what the numbers look like. So if you decide to go at the very low end and say, okay, you know what? You got me at 15%. The salary on the actuary, senior level actuary person is $251,000. Your one-time check is $37,000. Stephen, can you use that? Trudy, can you use that? Vanessa, can you use that? Paul, is this for you? Keisha, is this for you? Felicia, I don't know. I'm just naming everybody. Like, Can you use that? Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Like, that's serious business. And again, you could take that same number, right? And you can look at what the industry standard was going to be. And just placing one of those people, you're talking about a $50,000 check. If you can negotiate higher at that 25%, you're talking about a $62,000 check. It just gets bigger and better every moment. Do you understand? It gets bigger and better every moment. All right. Now I got to play with this just a little bit because some of you are classy, you're sharp, you're professional, you're on the high end of things. You know, when you walk out the door, I'm talking fresh to death. I'm thinking, oh, the only thing that can come to my mind is Outkast song, So Fresh and So Clean, right? And you just kind of have this crisp professionalism to you, and you associate yourself with the best and the best in the industry. And you charge 25 to 30% because you associate yourself with the best of the best. Because you took the time to get to know your actuary candidates, to mingle with them, and you understand your market. Okay? Vanessa said, give me 10 people, D. Okay? So let's say that you're placing in the 1%, top 1% of all actuary professionals. You're doing a salary of $500,000. Okay? That's your salary. And if you're doing that salary, 15% is not even an option. I would not even have you think about it. Okay, your rate should be somewhere between 25 and 30% if you're going to do that. So let's see what that looks like. Just to blow you guys up a little bit. But at a 25% fee, you place one actuary at a 25% fee, and you're talking about a $125,000 placement fee. And I went hard. I mean, that's serious business. And let's say you get one at 30%, you're talking at $150,000. Do you feel like in this particular niche that it would be worth you getting to know every actuary you can find, entry level to senior level, no matter what? Keisha says, shut the front door. She's serious. Do you feel like it would be beneficial for you to know your market, to get to know your candidates? Tell me, if you feel like it's beneficial, put a 1 in the chat box. Do you feel like this would be beneficial for you to really take the time to get to know? Yvonne said, where they at, D? Tell me where they are. I mean, geez, if you spend 30 days connecting and building relationships with 50 senior level actuaries that have salaries at $500K or more, and you start to really network with them and then start to build a straight plan on how you can place them and what companies are looking to fill them in, I'm telling you, you're talking about it, and you can do this consistently. If you did direct hire only and you placed only executive level actuaries, you're talking about $3.3 million in your first year. Really? Really? Hello? I don't know. 3.3 million sounds a little low to me. What do you guys think? Do you think 3. Vanessa says, I know I can do this, D. I know I can do this. Trudy said, what? Say what? Yes. And Yvonne said, come on now. So I just want to throw you guys, I just want to give you these numbers so that you can see what your possibilities are. Like what you have the ability to make in this business, okay? So let's go down, because I know I get excited when I look at those numbers. That's your bottom line number. Now we're going to talk about your residual, right? Your residual income, because this is where the action really takes place. People get excited about the direct hire income and they see all the numbers, and that's exciting and that's great. However, that residual income makes that bottom line income look like pebbles. Let me just keep it real. Let me just keep it real with you real quick, okay? It just makes it look like pebbles. So let's talk a little bit about your residual income here. I'm trying not to y'all don't know, I'm typically high energy, like I'm trying to like calm it down a little bit because I'm like typically over here jumping over the walls. Okay, so we saw that from based on the 2014 median base salary and being 96,000 a year, the typical hourly rate was $46 an hour, right? $46 an hour. So when you're on the contract side, everything is an hourly rate versus a salary. Whereas if you're on the direct hire side, everything is a salary, right? So your first line here in the infamous calculator is your bill rate, which is what you're going to actually bill the client with. The second one is for you to figure out what the hourly rate is going to be for the contractor. So you've got your taxes and your benefits and so forth. We call that the burden in the recruiting and staffing industry. And then what the candidate will actually make, that number will end up here. So I'm going to do, let's just see. Let me just go in and plug some numbers in. So y'all know I'm doing this very live. All right, so 34, let's do 35. Okay, so that gives a 46.90. That's perfect. And let's see oh, that's kind of high. So let's do, all right, I can live with that. So let's even do 70 because let's be realistic. So I did a 50% markup. Which you can really go anywhere between 45 and 65. One of my clients in Oklahoma City, they do about 65% markup in Oklahoma City, and then so forth. So I do want to answer a couple of questions. Keisha says, is the contractor the same as temp to perm? That's contractors can be used for temp to perm, contract to hire. So Keisha, temp and temp to perm are typically terms that we use for salaries that are under 60K. And when we refer or use the term temp, it typically relates to the commercial staffing market, meaning your admins, your customer service. So kind of like your blue collar workers work as temps. But when you're talking about numbers like this, and for this particular niche, there will be no temping at all. Everything will be contract. So we use the term contract. They're contractors versus temp. When you use the word contractor, typically that means the salary is higher. That means that the candidate has more worth. Temp has a bad connotation with it, to be honest with you. When people think of temps, they think of an admin. When they think of a contractor, they think of a professional solutions person. We're doing professional solutions. So yes, to answer your questions to some degree, the contract space, it would be equivalent to temp to perm. In this particular instance, we're talking about it as contract to hire for the actuary niche. So I hope that was helpful. She says, oh, okay, thank you for the clarification. So which one will the contractor be paid in this example? So the contractor is going to be paid the $46.90. This is what we are actually billing or paying out. This is our burden. We still have employers. We have to pay employer taxes, benefits, insurance, all that stuff. That's the burden. This is just the raw rate so we can figure out how much the burden is going to be and how we can relate that to our markup and our gross profit margin. When I'm looking at the numbers, this is the bill rate that's going to the client. This is the pay rate that is going to the candidate. And I look closely at the markup. What's my markup? What am I marking up the price to? And what am I profiting? What's my gross profit margin? Your gross profit margin should be somewhere between 28 and 43%. Your markup should be somewhere between 45 and 65%. I hope that was helpful and gave you a little bit of clarity on how this is set up, Keisha. Yes, no, maybe, a little bit? Okay, perfect. Yes, both Keisha says yes, thanks. Apparently I was answering both Keisha's questions and I didn't realize it. So that's awesome. That's great. All right, so here we've got a gross profit margin of 33%. I like to be somewhere around 36%. Again, Robert Half is around 43%. Don't let anybody tell you that 40% is high, especially if they have used Robert Half International, okay? All right, so I hope I cleared my numbers. Okay, great. So with these numbers, you would make $23.10 for every hour that your actuary works. That they work 40 hours in a week, that's an additional $924 a week. And if you keep them on billing or one person on billing all year long, you're going to bring in about $48,000 per year. If you keep 5 people on billing all year long at these numbers that we've discussed right here, then you're talking about bringing in about $4,600 per week and $240,000 extra per year. But I got to tell you that typically with a staffing agency in their first year, they should be able to do about 25 people on billing consistently. If you're able to keep 25 people on billing consistently, then you're doing somewhere about $23,000 per week and about $1 million per year. Could you use an additional $1 million per year? Now remember, that's not even including your direct hire. That is only your residual, and that is on the lowest side possible. That is not even the current hourly rate for the median, okay? For the 2016 median-based salary. But this is just for me to give you an idea as to how, so that you can see what you have the potential to do. Vanessa says, yes, yes, and yes, Dee. Yes, Yvonne said, that's a good day at the office, laugh out loud. That's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, literally, if you focused on direct hire on the high end and did about 3 million, and then you focused on the contract on the low end and did about 1.2, you're talking about 4.5 million your first year business. How does that sound for you? Is that acceptable for you? Is it too low? Is it not doable? What do you guys think about 4.5 million a year? Have I gone like way over? Okay. Deidre said amazing. Beautiful, Trudy says, bring it. Okay, I just want to make sure, because some people, they see these big numbers and they say, oh, this is not real. This can't happen. This is not true. I don't believe I can do it. But I'm here to tell you that this is very, very real. The recruiting and staffing industry is not as large as it is because for no reason whatsoever. This is what we do. All right, this is what we do. And Trudy says, after 5 years in the industry, it is real. It is real. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. And I have seen, when I tell you guys, I met a young lady. They actually did an article on her, which I think you can find online. I met a young lady once, and this is off the script. I hope you don't mind. But, I mean, she's like a single, blonde hair, blue eyes, 6'2" bombshell. And she's in this industry and she's like, I'm going to make, this is her lifestyle business. And she does well over $1 million a year in business. And she doesn't have an office. She travels all over the world. Her main business development source are dating sites. Can you guys believe that? They're dating sites like Match.com, Tinder, POF, and I'm thinking, like, I talked to her, I was like, dude, like, that's super dangerous. Like, you don't think that's dangerous? And she's like, nah, because I get to dance and I get to date and I get to make money at the same time. So she gets paid for what she does and she absolutely loves it. And I just want you guys to know that, again, this is definitely a lifestyle business if you want it to be. Vanessa says, D, would the actuary fall under C-level executives as well? Yeah, they can. I mean, the more research that I wasn't familiar with actuaries, actually, I know that this is a job that a lot of companies are having a hard time finding the right people. There are a handful of niche staffing agencies that cover this business, very sharp, high-end individuals. I know wheels are turning over there for people that are listening to this. They go from, entry level all the way to the executive level. When you're talking about your 500K, definitely executive level positions. When you're talking about your 90K, those aren't your entry level. It takes about 5 to 7 years for someone to get all the certifications that they need to become an actuary. But once they do, they stay in the industry forever. because it's an industry that's never going to, unless we get rid of the insurance industry, actuaries will always be here. And they're growing very aggressively in the banking industry right now, especially due to security and different things like that. So this is definitely a business to where, or a niche to where, with some planning and, some dedication, you could do some great things. If you are already in the recruiting and staffing business and you are working as and you're working in the finance and accounting space, and you don't have actuaries on your list, this may be one that you want to add. Based on my research, is some very huge heavy hitters in this space, and definitely you could do a lot of stuff there. Keisha says, what experience do you need to go after those actuaries? I think the only experience that you really need, honestly, is just to be able to have a conversation, to have a professional conversation with them. Now, I'm not going to lie, I would not go into this industry without looking at some YouTube videos and doing some research, but I'm going to show you guys. I shouldn't show you this, but no, don't end the webinar. I want to show them this. I want to show you what I found today, which I found this to be a very viable website that gave really, really good information. I was like, okay, I can see. Okay, hold on, guys. Y'all know I'm dealing with this freaking Mac. Let's see, what can I get? Okay, here we go. And y'all know this is not in my script, but I am going to, here it is. This beingactuary.org. I mean, great information here. I really was in here and I was thinking maybe this should be my niche. But they had some really good information about, and they spoke very highly about using recruiters and how important recruiters are and what role they play in for them getting those jobs. So, Keisha, it really is about you just doing some research and doing a little research to figure out what they do, what they have to go through, getting into their community, and then making it yours. Beingactuary.org. I'm going to stick this in the Q&A box, and I'm going to send it to all for anyone who is interested. Did you guys get that? I don't know if you guys got that. For anyone that's interested in this particular niche, I think it would be great for you to check out as well. Okay, so that's where a lot of it got research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, salary.com, beingactuary.com. So I went to a number of places, but this was a really major resource. They seem to be very up to date. Everything, I got a very good picture. It only took me about 2 hours to do some serious research on this niche to see whether this niche would be a good niche for even me if it's something that I was interested in doing, because I like different things like that. Okay, awesome. So she said, thank you. So that means I must have did my job somewhat well there. All right, so we're going to go back to the slide. I don't want to kidnap you guys for too long because I like to talk. I just need y'all to know that I'm a talker. And I will sit here and kidnap you guys all night long talking about recruiting and staffing. Y'all D, please. Okay, so we looked at the numbers. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my program, okay? And how you can take these niches and turn them into something real. It's so cool to be able to see how much money you can make, how you can impact people's lives, and and get a good understanding of a niche, what it entails, and so forth. But when it's time to go in and put all the pieces together, this is really where I believe that people get confused. It's okay, D, how do I make this real? How do I make this happen? So I want to talk to you guys today about my one-on-one, well, not my one-on-one program, but my training program that'll help you get this business off the ground and started. And I'm really excited about it because people are doing some big things in their recruiting and staffing agency businesses, their niche recruiting and staffing agency business. And I want to give you guys an opportunity as well to be able to make this dream a reality for you as well.